You know, the Visibility Formula Workshop really opened our minds to what is possible. If nothing else, we now know what's possible. We know what's possible in our businesses. We know what's possible in our in everything that we're doing, right? Because with our clients, we can really maximize our message, right? We can maximize our message. We can make strong calls to action. We can do so many amazing things. We can create our own HQ. So we are here tonight because so many of us have some amazing stories, and we want to make sure that everyone knows about it. We want to know, we want to kind of shout you guys out. So we've got some amazing docs tonight. We have Dr. Johanna Moore here with us. We've got Dr. Beckford, which I already said, our very own Oprah, EBS Oprah. When she talks, you're going to know why we call her EBS Oprah, okay? We've got Dr. Behrens, we've got Dr. Rachel Rubin. It's going to be fantastic. And you know, the best part is that we're streaming to Facebook. So many of the other doctors will get to see us and hear our stories. Now, those of you that are going to be speaking, did you, like a year from now, did you think you'd be doing this? Like a year ago, I should say, a year ago. Did you think you'd be doing this? Did you think you'd be featured? You can just put it in the chat. Do you think you'd be featured, you know, talking about your business, helping other doctors, letting them know that, you know what, entrepreneurship is possible. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. This is my story. Did you think that that'd be you? So any introverts out there that are watching, hey, listen, this could be you. Let's look in the chat and see. Dr. Beckford said, not at all. And she's like Oprah. So she didn't think she'd be doing it. It's okay if you don't see yourself like, you know, like you could be doing it either. Dr. Johanna Moore says, she dreamed about it. Oh, that is amazing. Are you serious? Wow, and look at it happening. That is so cool. Now, did you dream figuratively or literally? Which one was it? Was it both? Dr. Behrens says she's the biggest introvert. I can't believe that. You're an introvert? Oh my goodness. And look at her here today. And you know, this is really a testament to the EntreMD Business School, because each of these doctors, you know, they're doctors first before anything else. I mean, so they're busy. They have full lives. Just their careers alone is enough. And on top of that, they have businesses. On top of that, they have families. I think everyone here has children, you know, so it's really, you know, or a spouse. So it's, I mean, they have full lives, but not only are they succeeding in business, they are succeeding to the point that they want to leave an impact and they want to tell you all about it. So we're going to get started with our stories. I'm really excited to know how EntreMD Business School has made an impact for all of us. Now, Dr. Rachel Rubin, I'm going to call her first. She has been so kind to talk with us. Hi, Dr. Verma. I'm so glad that you joined us. She has been so kind to talk with us. She's got a toddler in tow, and and she is active. I know she is actually, you know, got a lot going on right now, but she's been so kind to talk with us. Dr. Rubin, is right now a good time, or do you want me to come back to you?
Yeah. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Happy
We're so glad to see you.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here, and so glad to be doing this. I couldn't be more honored and surprised that where I am today compared to a year ago. You know, briefly, my story, I'm a urologist with fellowship training in sexual medicine for all genders. And so not a lot of people do what I do. Not a lot of people talk about sex in the doctor's office, and I can't do it in 10 minutes, and I refuse to do it in 10 minutes. And so I left my employed practice and started my own private practice. And it was really with the pandemic and binging Dr. Una's podcast to really realize, like, oh, my mindset is all wrong about all this stuff. And it was just those aha moments after aha moments where it was like, it is what I make of it. It's what I put into it, and how much work, you know, we can do hard things. Like if you build it, like people will show up, and it's what you put into it. And so I just love the approach. I love the accountability. I love the group. Oh my God, the group is so inspiring because you get to see everyone else and all their struggles and all their glories. You know, as doctors, we are so competitive and hierarchical and really mean to each other. And this is the most friendly, most lovable, most incredibly supportive environment. And you learn from your colleagues who some are much farther ahead of you, like Dr. Sasha High, who I always look as my Dream 100, right? Or you see people who are just starting, right? Like Dr. Celine Lee, who I've been helping her start up her new DPC practice. And so it is so fruitful and wonderful. You know, I would say the mindset shift has been my patients, help the people that I'm doing it to give more time to my family, though that's not working so well. And I'm doing it for others. And what I've realized is I don't need to look perfect. I don't need to sound perfect. My authenticity comes through with doing that. And so I can make a video and I think it's the worst thing in the world and I'm embarrassed and I'm vomiting because I'm so horrified that I'm putting myself out there. And I get messages from England saying, hey, you cured my chronic UTIs and improved my sex life because you posted that video.
Wow.
You know, hey, you've completely changed the game because you taught me something on social media. And so you realize that it's not about you. It's about the people that you serve. And so I very much credit this group for helping me get there. And it's been a wonderful ride.
That is so amazing. Wow. Can we do jazzy hands or some cool emojis in the comments for Dr. Rubin? That is fantastic. That is so amazing. Can you imagine? You know, I there's so many things that you said that I love. First of all, you talked about the community, which I just had to put in the comment that the community is everything. I mean, it means so much. And, you know, being able to be transparent with other people that are going through the same business struggle, because business can be lonely, right? You know, there's only so many people when you're starting a business and you're trying to have the momentum to take it off the ground. There's only so many people you can talk to about it, especially if you want to talk about it every day. When you first start your business, everyone's so excited for you, but then the more you're like, oh, you know, I need to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. After a while, you know, people are, but imagine you have friends, you have colleagues. And I really think that we're, you know, like the business school student, I think it's okay to call everyone friends because the relationships are so authentic. And Dr. Rubin said, they're physicians that have great relationships with one another, and we're helping each other. So the community was fantastic. And I love that you mentioned accountability too, right? Because that accountability is what prompted you to do those videos. Because were you doing videos before? Probably not. Not as much, all right? But that accountability is what prompted you to do those videos. And the videos got seen all the way in England and provided a phenomenal opportunity for you. And I've seen a lot of your wins. You've had quite a few opportunities. So this is fantastic. So the EntreMD Business School is open. It is the only school of its kind for physician entrepreneurs. And it's just what you need. If you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for accountability, if you're looking for a community, this is it. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Rubin. We love you. We appreciate you coming on. Okay, now next we have the wonderful Dr. Johanna Moore. Tell us all about yourself.
Hi, can everyone hear me okay?
We can, thank you.
Good, and no echo or anything? Okay.
No,
great.
no, you sound good.
Well, my name is Johanna Moore, and I am a pathologist and dermatopathologist in private practice. I am not a partner in my practice. I'm an employee. But a few years ago, before I joined EBS, I had an opportunity to start my own medical corporation because I wasn't happy in the employment position I was in. And so I took a giant leap of faith and I started my own medical corporation, and I worked as an independent contractor for other hospitals and other groups in the area. And that went really great. I mean, it was a great bridge for me. It helped me to find the next job that was perfect for me. But I have to tell you, and maybe some of you on this call feel the same way, I felt like I still wanted something more in life. And I wanted something more in a couple of ways. In one way, it was like, I always thought that I would just go through med school and residency and all my fellowships, and I would make it into a partnership position. And all of a sudden I'd be earning like $500,000 a year and working minimally and hang out with my kids. And that didn't really happen. And I didn't really have that much autonomy in making those decisions. And so on one side, on the personal side, I felt like professionally, medically, I just didn't have as much control as I thought that I wanted. And that was really hard for me to take. And on the other hand, I felt like I had gone through my own personal struggles and learned a lot in business and learned a lot in personal development. And I felt this really intense desire to help people that weren't just patients and other physicians. I'm a pathologist, so I usually help other physicians. And I really felt like my calling was to help other women like me who were professional and just felt like they needed more. And so I was sort of torn when I joined EBS. Do I want to continue to invest in my medical corporation that's sort of stagnant right now? Like, do I want to build my industry contacts, or do I want to start something completely new in the personal development arena? And what I ended up deciding to do was actually start another company. And the company that I founded is called She Is Money. And it's a success strategy and coaching business for professional women. And what I learned during my period of time in EBS, I've been in EBS for almost 2 years now, is that you just don't know what is around the corner for you. And if you don't have that intense faith that something amazing is right there in front of you and you just can't see it, then you're never going to go for it. You're never going to push really hard and work really hard and make those tough fears go away because you don't even know it's there. And the thing about EBS is that between Dr. Una and the other people in the group, they help you see that. They help you see how completely amazing and intelligent you are, and that the ideas that you have for the company, whether it's as an entrepreneurship situation where you're just trying to build your own personal brand, or if it's for something completely new like drop shipping, that they are all there to tell you, you are on the right track. And this is how you can do it better, or this is how maybe you should try this. And there are so many times, and I'm sure you understand this, whether you have a business right now or whether you're just in medicine, where you feel like you get home at the end of the day and you're like, am I any good at this? Like, is this really what's supposed to be happening in my life? Like, do I even know what I'm doing? And when you get to that point, I mean, I was at that point a couple of days ago, and then I happened to talk to Dr. Una, and she made me promise to do a certain number of goals that I was working on, because she's like, women need to be in your group so bad. Like, what you're doing is so important and valuable. And I had kind of forgotten that for a second. And it was because of Dr. Una, and it's because of women like Dr. Beckford, who they continuously remind you that that's what you're there for. And I think that honestly is priceless. And that's something that you really can't get on your own. You can learn everything you want. You can read all the blogs, and you could even get your own MBA. But that's the whole thing about MBAs, is like pre-COVID, the only reason why you would get an MBA was for the contacts. So EBS is like the MBA of physicians. And I think it's the only choice, honestly.
That is so amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Behrens. I want to give you a round of applause. I'm so grateful for everything that you said. And I just love your story. I love your heart for people. And, you know, you to have such, and the thing about it is you started off not really knowing which direction you're going to take, you know, which you just knew that you wanted to help people. You just knew that you wanted to do something different. You knew that you'd lost autonomy, you lost control. Somewhere along the line there, things weren't the way you'd expect to be. And I love the fact that you didn't just take it. You know, like Dr. Una talks about, you know, like we're the cavalry. We're not waiting for someone to come and rescue us. We're the cavalry. So I love the fact that you had that understanding, like things aren't going exactly the way I thought they would in my career and my personal life. You know, I thought I'd have a little bit more time for my personal life. But instead of just taking it, I'm going to do something about it. Now, when it came time for you to decide to join the EntreMD Business School, what made you decide to join the school? Was it an easy decision for you?
Well, I was really on the edge. Like I actually
Mhm.
reached out to you and Dr. Una personally, and I felt like all I needed was one little nudge. And the thing for me was, as I spoke about before, is the community and the amount of people that I'll be able to collaborate with for the rest of my life. Like people who are
Yes.
going to grow big businesses or big groups, and who I can call upon, not just now, not just in 6 months, but in 10 years. I'll be able to call Dr. Beckford when has her
Yes.
Oprah program, and she'll say, girl, come on, get on. And so I felt like that was the big winner for me, was the community. And I just want to say one more thing that I think maybe it's hard to understand if you don't know like where I am now. So where I am now is that my company is thriving. It's still small. I'm still growing it, but it's running. People are interested. I feel super confident about it. And I know that I have all these people behind me who are there if I need them, if I need to go on a podcast, if I need help with tech, then I know that there are people who are still helping me to continue to grow my business. And I feel like my business is not going to fail. I feel like it's doing well and it's thriving. And by the end of the year, I have some huge, huge goals for it that I have no problem believing that those will happen.
That's powerful. Just a mindset alone, just a mindset shift alone is powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Moore. That is wonderful. Can we give her some jazzy hands and some cool emojis in the comments? Let her know how wonderful she is. We love that. Oh, Dr. Oda is even commenting, Dr. Moore. This is such a wonderful story. I can't wait to see more from She Is Money, you know, and all the different women and professional women that's going to be helping. Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, Dr. Rubin, I wanted to ask you, and I completely forgot, but Dr. Moore triggered my memory. Was it easy for you to make the decision to join the school? Oh, are you still on, Dr. Rubin, by any chance? Let's see if she's still there. I don't see her.
I saw that she dropped off.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Barron. Well, Dr. Barron, since you're already here, I can't believe you're an introvert with that sunny smile. Yeah, you have a great smile.
I'm definitely an introvert.
Are you really? So how
Oh
did
my
an
God,
introvert enter the EntreMD Business School? What's your experience been like?
It's been great. I mean, that was really, I think, why I decided to join the school, because I knew I needed that push. I don't generally like putting myself out there, but when I joined, I was about a year and a half into having opened my DPC practice, and I felt like totally discombobulated. I had, a little bit of growth, and I was, like covering my expenses, but I didn't really know how to grow. And I had a lot of things in my business that were not working the way I needed them to. And I knew I needed to try to market better to capture a more ideal patient that would be a good fit for what I was trying to accomplish with the practice. And then also just, I needed to pay myself. So I opened my practice in January of 2020. And so the first year was a complete wash between COVID, and then I was pregnant. It was just crazy. So I just really felt like I needed a reset, and I knew there were things I needed to do differently with marketing. And I knew I needed a push and a little bit more structure and strategy behind it. And I didn't know how to do that myself. And so I wasn't really sure what it was that I needed. But I came across EntreMD Live. I don't even remember how. And I decided, like, I think it was like the night before I signed up, and then I, went through EntreMD Live. It was like a disaster for my husband that day, having the kids, but it was fine. And by the end of that, I could tell, I was like, okay, this is the kind of structure and accountability that I need to help me get where I need to go.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. So since joining the school, what's happened?
I think I just feel like I have a lot more clarity. There was a lot of mindset blocks that I had about making some changes in the structure of my business, the way that payment is structured with my patients, and just the way that I like handle onboarding and handle, taking in new patients. It was very disorganized and very labor intensive for myself. And so I just feel like I have a lot more clarity about how to do that better. It's a lot easier for me to say no to people that I can tell are not going to be a good fit for my practice. Whereas before I was in very much a scarcity mindset of taking everyone. And that was adding chaos to my life. And I think I just have a much better understanding of marketing strategy and specifically the how of like putting myself out there. Because before I was just doing a lot of random things and there was no strategy or anything behind it. And now I feel like I really understand how it needs to happen. So I'm able to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, and I love that you say that because, some people thinking about joining the school may be like, well, I don't really need to join the school. I can just learn what I need to learn. I can, Google it. I can read books. I can, watch. I can even just listen to the podcast. I can, there's so many things they think they can do. But I love that you said that being in the school helps you to actually put a strategy behind it. And so you're not just failing around, or you're not just making movements, you're making targeted strategic movements that are actually growing your business. And so, but as an introvert, have you been able to do more? In terms of putting yourself out there?
Yeah, I'm definitely someone who follows instructions. So if I'm told I have to do a thing, then I can do it. But I won't, I think, I don't know if anyone is familiar with the 4 tendencies from Rubin, but I'm an obliger. I need external accountability to do things. Even if I know I need to do them, I won't do them unless someone's making me. So it's definitely forced me to do the things that I know I've always known I needed to do, and I just didn't really want to. So I would find excuses.
Oh,
but even to go back to what you said, I said, I knew what I needed to do sort of, but I wasn't doing it. And I think especially in the direct primary care community, there's very much this mindset of DIY. We don't need people to help us. We don't want to be controlled by anyone else, blah, blah, blah. And people have a very adverse reaction to coaching in general. And I don't really understand where that comes from, but for me, it's been the most helpful thing I've done, because you can read all day and do, listen to podcasts, and I was doing all of that. And it wasn't like I didn't know some things, but it just having a strategy and a plan and a focus and accountability to getting that done. That's the part that's so valuable, because you can do it for yourself, but will you,
Yeah, that's true. That's the $1 million question. and then sometimes you have to ask yourself, have I been doing it? Because you may lie to yourself and say, oh yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, next week I'll do it. But have you been doing it? And
you can lie to yourself.
Yeah.
You can say oh, well, I did XYZ thing. And, you can lie to yourself that you're making progress, but in reality, you're really holding yourself back because you're not pushing yourself to the next level.
Exactly. Now, you did all this with a baby, because you said you were pregnant when you were watching.
So
you did all this.
When I joined, my daughter was 7 months old, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess we don't have an excuse. I don't have an excuse. Mine is at least 5. I mean, he can walk and talk and feed himself. So I guess we don't have an excuse, right? What would you say to somebody that's on the fence about joining the school?
I was really on the fence. One, because obviously like the financial investment, and then 2, I knew I was not going to be able to attend most of the calls live because they are scheduled during when I get home and I transfer my kids from the nanny to me, and then I'm cooking dinner, and then it's bedtime. Like it just was literally not going to happen. I knew it was not going to happen. And so, you know, I was a little bit nervous about that. And I can't remember if it was you or Dr. Una that I was talking to about that. And I think if you make the commitment that you're going to do it, and like I just have on my schedule the next day, I listen to the replay and that's my time that I do it. And then I don't get to participate in the calls as much, but I still get a lot out of listening to them. And I try to follow through the challenges and participate in the group as much as possible. So like, even if you can't commit the exact hours of the day that the calls are happening, you can still get it done. And I think, you know, I've talked to a lot of people who've asked me about it, and a lot of people are very hung up on the financial investment. And I mean, I just have to, the way that I looked at it was like, okay, how many patients do I need to add to my practice to pay for this? And that I think is easy, you know, like by the time you think about, okay, if I onboard, you know, however many patients and they stay for a year because I've onboarded the right type of people, that's like a no-brainer, the amount that you get back. And how much would I have to spend to get that many patients of my own hours of my day? And then like financially, like maybe outsourcing some things to other people. I think it's easy to make the investment worth it.
That is brilliant. Oh my goodness. That is brilliant. Anyone who's thinking about the financial investment should look at it that way. And I think, to be honest with you, I think there are quite a few people in the school that, you know, try and make that financial investment through their business, you know, and there's many that have already made back their money. So that is really, really amazing. And I'm so grateful that you shared that. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Behrens. You've got kiddos at home and, you know.
My dog, I think they just got home. They're like, my dog's barking, so.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Let's all give jazzy hands to Dr. Behrens and, you know, let her know in the comments what an amazing job she did. And thank you for your insight. That really, really opened a lot of our eyes. Now, I just want to, she mentioned the live calls. And she also mentioned the replay. So that is something that you may not realize. So if you're not able to make the live calls are every Wednesday at 7 p.m. The replays are there, usually within an hour of the calls. So it's not a deterrent at all. You'll still be able to do everything you need to do through the, look at her, you know, she's doing it. And so we've got weekly live sessions. Got monthly challenges. Right now we're doing the 30 in 30. So 30 videos in 30 days and we are rocking it, you know, and the amount of momentum and growth that's happening because of the challenges every month is unbelievable. Because one thing that sets EntreMD Business School apart is the action. We take action. It's not just theory. We learn what we need to learn and then we actually do it. You know, we've got wonderful guest experts. We've had experts that were teaching us how to hire for free, you know, get help for your business for free, you know, how to make an irresistible offer, which is one of my favorite guests. We even had a guest expert teaching us on how to get on a TED Talk, you know, wonderful guest experts. We have the private Facebook group, which you've heard about. that community is unbelievable. How to copyright. That's right, Dr. Beckford. We have special projects like the collaboration book, you know, that you get to qualify for, and collaboration opportunities with one another. Dr. Johanna Moore brought that up. Like, oh my goodness, you are in a place with the cream of the cream. Like I didn't realize that people got MBAs just so they could network. This is even better. You know, you're in the same room with people that are going places, and you know, you get to meet them now and collaborate with them now. And we have specialty in-person events, like next week, we're all going to see each other at the Mastermind in Atlanta. Dr. Beckford is as excited as I am. So the link was in the comments. I'm going to put it again one more time. If you're interested, you need to apply. If this is what you need, if you're like Dr. Behrens and you're like, you know what, I need somebody to tell me, make me do what I need to do. I need somebody to make me do what I'm supposed to do. There it is. That's the right one. I need somebody to make me do what I'm supposed to do. I know what I should do, but I need someone to make me do it. This is for you. The coaching, the accountability, the community is what you need. And we've got some bonuses. I want to tell you, I always talk about wanting to spend Dr. Una's money, but I also like to spend her time. I'm always telling Dr. Una, oh, you should get on the phone with that person. Oh, they really need you. Why don't you give them an hour call? And she's like, Makita, do you think I have all the time? Yeah, I think I even did it today. I was like, oh, you should call that person. You should get on the phone with them. Dr. Moore says, yep, and you see it and you think, wow, they can do it, so can I. Yes, thank you so much for that comment, Dr. Moore. But yeah, I love to spend Dr. Una's time as well. So we are going to spend some of her time. She's not here. Well, she's here, but she's in the comments. She's muted. So, so she can't stop us. On day one, we said that if you join on day one, on the first day of the launch, if you join, then you get 20 minutes call with Dr. Una. But I'm going to extend that today. So if you join during the live, while I'm live, if you apply to the school, you will get a 20-minute one-on-one with Dr. Una. Okay, Dr. Una, thank you very much. You're so generous with your time. So you got that bonus. Plus, guess what the other bonuses are? You get access to the EBS vault right away. So you won't start till June, but that vault is priceless. That vault is right. Dr. Moore said it's really hard to get 20 minutes with Dr. Una's time. So let me tell you something. Spending her time is a lot more expensive than spending her money. So if you can get her time, you're doing great. So you get access to the EBS vault, all of the EBS courses since the beginning of EBS, you get access to that. You get a custom roadmap, and you get the VIP group session behind the scenes of $1 million company. What else could you possibly want? This will be the launching pad for where you need to be in business. This will be a launching pad for getting your business to where you want to be, getting your life to where you want it to be. Now, will it be challenging? Yes, but what's the price of your dream? What's the price of staying the same? What's the price of, in 2023, you're still saying the same story. You're still saying, I really wish, things were different. I really wish I had more time with my kids. I really wish I had more financial resources. I really wish I had more autonomy. I had more control over my hours. And I think it was Dr. Rubin that said, you just never know. You just never know. You never know what's at the other end of you saying yes. Okay, now I would like to call Dr. Beckford, our very own Oprah.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm usually on the other end, interviewing you guys, but hey, thanks. So, I'd really love to tell you guys my story, and I'm gonna, before even telling the story, I'm gonna welcome all my new classmates, everyone who signed up, those who are trying to get that 20-minute, run and get it, because Dr. Una's time is so valuable. And how often would you get 20 minutes to speak to somebody who's built a multi-million-dollar company one-on-one? That's priceless right there. So before we even start, I would tell you to go ahead and do that. You can do it even while you're listening to me. I will not be offended. So let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Tamara Beckford, and I am an ER physician, and I'm also the founder of Your Curing Docs. And Your Curing Docs is a health platform healthcare company. And I say that because I'll tell you how I got to that space, right? So back in 2020, I wanted to become an entrepreneur, didn't have really any understanding of how to do that. Started looking around, and the first thing you do is look and say, well, what is it that I'm good at? And with us, we're doctors, we always think that we're only good in one lane. So at that point in time, I said, oh, well, I am an ER doctor. I see patients. I wanted to do telemedicine and as an urgent care. So I'll say, okay, I'll start a telemedicine urgent care company. As time progressed, I kind of looked at what was my why for doing that. One, as Dr. Rachel Rubin said, I wanted to spend more time with my family, wanted to be able to build something for myself. And then as time progressed, we had this thing called COVID that came on. So the beginning of 2020, wanted to start this telemedicine company, no COVID, middle of 2020, full blown COVID. So now I am looking at, well, what are some ways that I can try to do this? And then I ran across this EntreMD Live. I'm like, EntreMD Live, what is this about? So I joined and I called one of my friends and I'm like, hey, we should go and we should visit and participate in this EntreMD Live, which I did, and I was blown away. So from the EntreMD Live, I also listened to the podcast, and I think that, you got the opportunity to be part of the class, the EntreMD Business School. So I sent in my application. I was so excited to send it in that I misspelled my email address and I began to freak out. I was like, oh my God. So luckily there were some other ways to get in contact with Makita, who from then on, she has been getting texts from me from doing things not the way I was supposed to. And so luckily she said, that's okay. And, I got into the EntreMD Business School. So as I'm there and I'm trying to figure out, I want to do telemedicine, and I'm also being an ER doctor, the waves of COVID just began. We have more and more patients coming in the ER. So I'm having less and less time to kind of work on my business. I'm finding myself shutting the door to my kids. I'm finding myself not being able to spend as much time with them. And then I looked at my why, which I actually have in this book right beside me. And my why was, I want to be able to spend more time with them. And so I realized that that was just not possible. And now I had to pivot. So when you're starting, my point of my story at this level is that when you feel like you have to make a change, a lot of things go through your mind. Number one, you might start feeling like you're a failure, but that's not so. It's not so. You're just changing your mind and your trajectory. And I remember at one point when Dr. Una said, well, wherever you start is not necessarily going to be where you end. There are a lot of people who started businesses, and that's not the business that you see now. It's not the business that they started. However, through this entire process, one thing that EBS has is a lot of challenges, right? So every month we had a challenge. So as I'm trying to figure myself out, we had challenges. And guess what? One of the challenge was, go on social media and introduce yourself. Okay, you can type it up. You've seen all the typed up introductory posts, but then you had to go speak. She said, go on for 3 minutes, make a 3-minute video and put it out there. Oh my goodness. I don't know if it's possible to hold your breath for 3 minutes, but I did that day because I did that whole thing and I held my breath and I put it on social media and I ran away because I did not want to see. I was so scared. If you want to go look at that video, I still have it up as a reminder to myself. And that is, I think it's either August of 2020. Now, as I'm still trying to figure myself out, Dr. Una says, make some more videos and do what's considered like, your speech, which is your signature talk. So I'm doing all of that and I'm trying to figure out what is it that I want to do. And then I'm talking. Each week I started doing a live where I'm discussing information, medical information. And then I moved from that to started to saying, okay, let me put it on podcast form. And then I said, well, why don't I start interviewing? So in July of last year of 2021, I said, let me bring some guests on, and I started interviewing. Between July and I think it was October, I interviewed 100 doctors. And I told Dr. Una, I said, guess what? I just interviewed 100 people. She said, what? Put it out there, let people know. I said, okay. From there on, at that point, I started interviewing people live and I loved it. I hear your stories. I get to really show people how amazing doctors are inside and outside of medicine. And then that's how Docs Who Cares really started. And every week, I think except for probably only 2 weeks so far that I haven't done a live interview. I've done every single Thursday. I interview live. It's on LinkedIn. It's on Facebook. And I was looking through our guests right now. I think I've interviewed at least 5, but then I see a new doc came on 6 doctors here that are on this call, and I get to tell their stories. So as I'm doing that, I'm also speaking, because Dr. Una says, whenever you need to figure out, speak to grow, go ahead and speak, right? Of course, which is the most challenging part. So as I'm speaking, I'm finding myself, and I'm looking at and I'm finding my story. And I'm going on podcasts. So I've now interviewed over 150 docs, and I've been on over 50 to 60 podcasts myself. So I'm just speaking. Now, what has that led to? Because you're like, okay, I'm still here speaking, right? So what has that led to? I'll tell you this, within the last 5 weeks. So this is my win for the last 5 weeks, right? So I applied to speak on a conference called Power to Fly. I got a paid speaking gig, was able to get interviewed on that, right? And then after that, I said, well, why not try to be a moderator? Because the person who moderated, I'm like, I liked how she did it, and I can do it. I mean, I've interviewed 150 people. So I applied and said, hey, can I be a moderator? Got the yes. So I'll be moderating something in May. I got accepted on Wednesday, that she said, put together a signature speak, talk about your, what it is that you're passionate about, and be able to get some, like at least a 2 or 3 minute version. So I applied to another international conference, and they said, this is our last day. This is Wednesday, which was 2 days ago. Last day for you, we have to audition you, and I need you to be able to tell me your stuff in 2 minutes, and we'll see if we'll do like a TED Talk type audition. And I said, okay, sure. So I did that during the same time when we were having our EBS class. And you know how I was able to do that? Because I put myself out there and put together a master session that I was having the day after. So I was already preparing for my master session. So when they came at me and said that you have to do a 2-minute talk, okay, I got this, boom, did it, knocked it out. And did my master session yesterday. And then I'm also having a live event, my first live event that I'm networking and collaborating with another person here locally in Houston. And I'm going to do that next month. Would I have done any of this at the beginning of 2020? No, not at all. And these are just my wins within the last 5 weeks. So when you're a part of the business school, you are around others that not just push you, and it's not a competition. It's really the tide lifting all the boats at the same time. We all learn from each other. We all support each other. Like Dr. Johanna Moore, she came to my masterclass and she sent me a lovely text like, hey, great job. We all lift each other, and we all have weaknesses and we all have strengths. And so we really help each other so that we can all rise together and get to be the best versions of ourselves. So if you're thinking, I know this is for me, like Makita said, where do you want to be in 2023? Because there are a lot of people who thought about joining the EBS in 2020, and they're still at the same place now in 2022. Think about where you want to be in 2023. And if you want to be in the same place where you are now, then, by all means. However, there's a better version of you out there. And you know that there's something that's driving you on the inside, which is the reason why you're on this call in the first place. So use that and pull that and ask any of us any questions that you have, because trust me, this is one of the best group out there to be a part of. This business school, bar none, will help to elevate you. So thank you guys for your time, and I'm here for any questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Beckford. Wow. Jazzy hands for Dr. Beckford. This is unbelievable. Oh gosh. Now we all know. Is there anybody else that didn't want her to stop talking? It's like, keep talking. Dr. Johanna Moore has been really wonderful to put her email out address there. If anybody has any questions and want to speak to her directly, that's great. But Dr. Beckford, I'm like, keep talking, she has that calming presence like Oprah, and that she really genuinely cares about you like Oprah. And she makes you want to talk. See, Dr. Behrens also has her email there if you want to reach out to them, if you're like, hey, that Makita and that Dr. Una, of course, they're going to talk good about the school. You let me know what you think. You let me know the real scoop about the school. You can reach out to those too. But Dr. Beckford, you said something that was so phenomenal. You said that you just don't know, you need to pull out what's already in you. You already have this business idea, pull it out. But do you know what your story makes me think about? Your story makes me think about the business school also pulls out the things that you didn't know you had in you. Did you know you were a speaker? And that's actually like one of your biggest skills. You didn't know you were a speaker before the business school. Now look at you being paid to speak internationally.
And, the thing is that the business school helps to give you the guts to go after those dreams, because there are a lot of times, and I want all of our, soon to be colleagues, because I know you guys are going to be my colleagues, for you to understand it's okay, because all of us are doing this scared. Now you hear all of these wins, like, yeah, I was able to do all these 5 amazing things, but you also have to remember, before I even made those leaps, I had to work on my mindset. I was afraid, I was nervous, I wasn't sure if, this person, when I apply, would they look in there like, and they say, oh, whatever, I don't understand why. But then I had to sit and say, wait a minute, no, I have something valuable to offer. And as Dr. Moore, who mentioned it also in Dr. Behrens, that it's not about me, and I even had to write this on like a paper and like stick it up. It's not about you, it's about the women you serve, or so whomever it is, about the clients you serve. So you have to learn to pull yourself out of the situation and pull yourself away from the consistent fear and just take a leap. And then it's so interesting that afterwards you look at that and you're like, oh, that's easy for me to do. Just like how now it's easier for me to speak. But like I said, August 2020, different story.
Wow. Amazing transformations have happened and now you're in your second year, right? You're in your second year.
Correct. Yes. I am in my second year. And I was sitting there and thinking about, how much growth has occurred. And and feeling more comfortable, and the growth happens differently for everyone. And that's another thing that we also have to remember. For example, we mentioned, if you've listened to even through this session, the visibility workshop, Dr. Una says, hey, I think somebody says we're a lovely bunch of different fruits. We have yes. Some of us blossom at different times, right? We have some who are blossoming as bananas, peaches, mangoes. I think somebody wanted to be an orange. But because of that, because I know I'm blossoming at another time, I can look and admire like Rebecca for taking and throwing her first in-person event. She did that a couple of weeks ago in Houston. Wow. And then I'm like, wow, this is great. I can try to do something like that. So I'm emulating and I'm learning from her. Like, like Johanna Moore is building a society also. And I'm like, okay, Johanna Moore, I'm like, I love your emails that you send out. It's so powerful. So we all learn from each other, and it's a supportive environment because we all have different strengths. And so it's something that you just don't see very often, especially at this capacity.
Yes. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And, one thing I want to ask you, because I don't think anyone listening to all of the testimonies, all of these success stories would say that the business school is not amazing. I'm sure you can't listen to these things and listen. I mean, even just listening to Dr. Una, the business school is phenomenal. But I want to ask about the financial investment, because you joined at a time when the price for the school had changed. But so what was it like for you to make that financial investment for yourself?
So that's a great question, because that was one of the first time that I've truly invested in myself outside of medical school. When I
Wow.
really look at it, and it opens up your mind to realizing that I will not really progress to the next level if I do not invest in myself, you know? And as I don't know, did anybody listen to that EBS the on the EBS podcast, Dr. Unis says that sometimes you have to pay to play. Like if you want to level up and be in rooms with other people who are doing amazing things, sometimes it's not going to be free. So you have to pay to play. So if you want to be a part, and as Johanna Moore said, like this room in EBS, it's filled with gems. Like most of the people whom I was able to start interviewing were all my EBS classmates. The post is still up in our private chat. And from there on, I'm interviewing people from all over the world. This place is filled with gems, and you're filled with people who are so powerful, and they're starting stuff, and they're building amazing businesses. So if you want to be a part and learn from them, then you're going to have to invest in yourself.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I hope that helps. You know, the for anyone that may be on the fence and thinking about, can I make that kind of financial investment? And Dr. Behrens gave us a great analogy. She said, I just make it in my business. I just figure out how much, how much do I have to make, in order to pay for this. And I love the fact that Dr. Uno today talked about making a decision. Don't let a bad decision, when she talked about losing $1 million, so almost losing $1 million, that's all based on a decision. It's just about making a decision. And you can't be an effective entrepreneur if you don't make decisions. One decision is all it takes. Just make the decision to invest in yourself, to make the decision that you're going to do everything that you're asked to do, even if it's afraid, you're just going to do it. EBS, the EntreMD Business School, gives you so much. It allows you to effectively articulate who your ideal client is. It lets you build an audience of raving fans, so you can turn them into paying clients. It lets you create consistent revenue so you can have financial freedom. And it helps you build an automation system, and it helps you build teams so you can buy back your time. And in addition to all of that, you get the community, you get the time, you get the coaching, and you get the accountability. And like I said, if you join doing this live, which is going to be ending soon, I'm going to give time for some questions. But if you join doing this live, I am going to hold Dr. Una and make her sit in one spot and let her talk with you for 20 minutes. No, she's actually happy to talk with you. She loves people and she loves helping people. She genuinely loves helping people. If you don't know my story, we've worked together for years, and I can tell you that she's the real deal. So is there anyone with questions? I don't want you to leave without getting your questions answered. Questions about the school, questions about framework. Please ask your questions so I have Dr. Beckford and Dr. Behrens and Dr. Moore here. So if there's something that I don't know, they'll answer. But we are here for you. Dr. Beckford has put in her email address as well. So if you want to reach her directly, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much for everyone that's joined. And please, the replay will be available for this as well, so that you will have a chance to look at it again if you miss any of the wonderful success stories that were shared tonight. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, I want to thank my guests. Thank you so much, Dr. Beckford. Thank you so much, Dr. Rubin, Dr. Moore, and Dr. Behrens. You guys were absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for being transparent and sharing your journey with us. And thank you for inspiring us. I feel like, hey, I need to do a live event next week. And if you do, and I'll put in my email address as well, if you do have if you do have a question for Dr. Uno, for myself, this is the right email address to get to. And I look forward to seeing you in the school. So go ahead and apply and snag those 20 minutes with Dr. Una. All right, everyone, have a good night. Thank you so much.